Owen will give later most of the thing, but one technical thing that maybe not only for you, Tom, but for all of us, you know that being a guide is not only about knowing stuff and knowing the materials and the dates and the terms and everything, but we, the guides, we're also friends with each other, we're colleagues with each other. So one thing you need to think about in addition to all the other things is not only our group, but also the other groups. So when you enter the place, usually when you'll come here with groups, it will be packed with groups. Anywhere you go, it will be noisy and messy. But if we got lucky and we enter and there's only one group here, why come and get stuck there? Let's go to the other side. So we will have our own quiet corner, they will have their own quiet corner. But these are things that you develop with time. You get, you can think about it. So I won't move you now because we're already sitting. But let's try to be more quiet here and not bother the other group. So, like Tony said very well and very correctly, this is the theater of Caesarea. And theater exactly is unlike what. First of all, let's say that the term is important. The word is important. This is a theater. What is it not? This is not an amphitheater. In everyday use, in modern language, when you ask people, do you go to see a show of Shlomo Artzi or I don't know who in Caesarea? Yes, I'm going to see him in the amphi of Caesarea. But this is wrong. This is not an amphitheater. This is a theater, because theater and amphitheater are two separate buildings for two separate functions. Now we'll speak about theater, later we'll speak about amphitheater. So a theater, exactly like Tony said, is used for drama, for comedy, for pantomime, doing things with movements of the body but without voice. These kind of performances. No fighting, no blood, no fighting, no battles, nothing of that sort in here. Only no lions, no bears, no captive prisoners, no early Christians, nothing. Only performances. Performers, actors that stand on the stage and do their performances to the audience. Like Tony has said, there was a high wall at the back. The name of this wall is Skene Frons. Now when you're entering the Latin periods or the Roman periods, you see that there are a lot of terms that you need to know. Most of them are in Latin or Greek. So yes, there are a lot of Latin words. So excuse me for that. But the wall is called Skene Frons. From the word skene, we get in English the word scene. The scene that we're seeing is what is performed on the skene, on the scene fronts, or the front of the scene. So the performance would be on the stage. The round thing at the bottom is called the orchestra. Orchestra in Greek. And who did not stay in the orchestra? The orchestra. Okay, this is especially, and again, in order to fail students in tour guide courses, in the orchestra there were no musicians, there was no band, there were no people with music instruments. This is an empty area that creates the distance between the player, the actors, and the audience.
You mean this one?
Yeah, the circle at the bottom where all the plastic seats are, this was empty. This is called an orchestra, but in Greek theater and in Roman theater, there is no music. If there is music, there is one harp or one trumpet, not like we see in musicals today. If you go to the West End of London or something like this. That creates the distance between the actors and the audience. No music. If there is music in some of the Greek plays, then it's usually one or two instruments, not more than this. Sometimes we can find the choir, a group of human voices that does sort of singing. They might sometimes stand there, but most of the time it's empty. The spectators, the audience, sits where you are sitting. And here we have, again, like Tony said, the cavea. Cavea is a chunk of, or a layer of seats. So from the bottom until where you are standing, this is one cavea. Cavea with C in Latin. There is no K in Latin. From where you are sitting until the top, all around, is the second cavea. And above it, there used to be, and now doesn't exist anymore, a third cavea. Maybe from wood, maybe from stone, but there was another one. So imagine that if today this theater can have about 6,000 people, imagine 1/3 more. We're talking about almost 10,000 people in this theater. This is a huge one. So the spectators would sit here because they didn't have breeze from the sea, as Tony explained, because of the scanophones. Then they also didn't want sun to be on them. So above them there was a roof, but not like a permanent roof. A roof made of cloth, of probably sails from ship. That there was some kind of mechanism that the workers of the theater could roll it to open it and close it. If there was sun or rain, they could unfold these sails that functioned as a roof to protect from sun or from rain. But where do you think would sit the important people, the rich and famous?
On the top. The third space.
On the top, you say. Why?
No.
Near the orchestra.
In the middle here. Why in the middle? Because the center, maybe it's the best view to the stage.
That's the view and to here.
There.
The middle there, yeah?
Across from the
Across on the other side.
The middle.
In the middle.
The middle.
Right in the middle.
I would say something behind.
But I think from everywhere you can see everything.
I'll tell you the answer and then we'll think why. The rich and famous, the who's and the VIPs would sit in the first row, at the very bottom. They're all the circle. When you'll be in Bet Shean later in the course, you see that they even had special seats, very decorated seats. But why? Why would a rich person that can buy any seat he wants, why would he choose to sit there at the bottom?
They see better and also here.
To see better, if I want to see the performance, the best place to sit is a little bit at the top, maybe in the middle. From the downside, you don't see the performance very well. But what do people see? They see you. Because if you think about why do people come to the theater, not in order to see the performance, they come to be seen. Because later outside, what they're going to talk about? The performers? Or did you see he was coming with the wife of that one and she was wearing a new dress and she was wearing new necklace and she has this and he has that and he's important. He had a very important visitor. That's what's the interesting thing. Yeah. And if you look even today in major theaters in Europe, if you go to England or to London, if you see now King Charles, when he goes to theater, where is his seat? In the high and at the very side. Almost at the side of the stage, almost like this. Here he sits. From here, does he see the show? No. But everybody sees him. That's the point. That's why VIPs come to the theater. Because the theater has a social function. It's not only fun and entertainment, it also is. But the theater is a social scene where people can see, people can do business, people can make agreements, people can make their status, declare their status in a society.
The time of Herod, in which language did they have that?
So it's a good question. We don't know. Probably some in Latin, some in Greek, because these are the languages of culture. Theater is a Greek invention, so most of the plays are in Greek. But I assume that in the Roman culture would also find Latin shows as well. Now, what do you do when you as a guide come here with a group? If, for any reason, you would come with your group, sit them here in the middle of the sun, and start telling them words in Latin, that this is Xenophon, this is orchestra, this is cavea, then either Oren or me are going to jump at you with a stick from behind one of the stones and beat you with it. Because these terms are things that you need to know. Your groups don't care about it. These are professional tools for you, because you're going to go and read books about this. You're going to read academic articles about it. You're going to be in conferences, and that's the language professionals speak. So you need to know the language. You need to know the terms. But your group doesn't care about it. Your groups are not professional. Your group are not archaeologists. They are not tour guides, and they didn't come here to suffer. So you don't put them in the sun like I'm putting you, and you don't give them Latin words like I'm giving you. You came here in order to suffer. In order to become tour guides, you need to suffer. Good suffer is good for the soul, and for the badge as well. But your groups are here to have fun. So what can you do here with a group that will make them remember this place? Like what? Like what story would you tell here?
You show what you mean, what you see here.
What would you show them? Give me examples. Like a specific story?
Sort of show them what sort of plays were on you. Would you act out certain things or?
Exactly. You want to bring the place to life. So something like what I told you about the rich and famous, where would they sit? What's the purpose? What do they come? What's interesting for them? That's something that can interest the group. Maybe take one of the group. Always in every group there's someone who sings. Send them all the way to the stage and let them sing. Looks funny, but that's the thing people remember. If someone enjoys thinking, if someone likes to be even in a school play, they don't need to be professionals. To stand on such a stage and to sing and to have people in front of you, that's an experience that people remember. People are going to talk about it. When they do the little meeting before they finish the trip and go back home, in the slideshow they're going to show, they're not going to show you and your Latin words. They're going to show their friend who was standing in the middle of the stage in Caesarea singing. That's what they're going to remember. So find these things that are interesting for the people, that bring the places, bring the stones into life, and that's what you give to your groups. Questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.